Enter text you wish breastfeeding a baby in China. When it comes to breastfeeding, China is a bit of a conundrum. Although statistics tell us that China has better breastfeeding rates than the US and Europe, most people having a baby in a Chinese hospital will feel there is far less support and understanding about breastfeeding. Most mothers will experience a large amount of pressure to formula feed in the hospital. This is true for foreign mothers and even more true for Chinese. Living in China, you have probably noticed that formula marketing is rampant. Formula samples are given at prenatal checkups, free breastfeeding classes are held by formula companies, their posters are all over the walls of most hospitals. Drivers and hospital staff receive perks from formula companies for promoting their products. WHO and UNICEF's baby-friendly hospital initiative prohibits formula promotion or pressuring. There are over 6,000 baby-friendly hospitals in China compared to 105 in the US. Still, I can personally attest to being in baby-friendly hospitals where I see at least 4 of the 10 requirements being routinely broken. Perhaps one explanation for the difference seen between statistics and real experience is that the statistics are for the whole of China. If you look at the major metropolitan cities, you see a much bleaker picture. For instance, in Shanghai, breastfeeding rates at 4 months are 22% compared to countryside kept at 76%. The national target is 80%. Sources: 1, 2, 3. Still, the general attitude in China is pro-breastfeeding. In contrast to the West, almost all Chinese women plan to breastfeed. Breastfeeding in public is much more acceptable in China than in the West. Since the 2008 formula scandal, breastfeeding has been promoted. For most, formula feeding is not seen so much as a choice, and women only plan to use it if they have to. Still, with a lack of medically sound support, unethical marketing, and abundant family pressure, few manage to exclusively breastfeed and wean long before they hoped to. So if you plan to breastfeed, what should you expect when having a baby in China? Hospital stay. Do not expect hospital breastfeeding support. Those foreign mothers I've talked to who had babies at international hospitals report receiving help with breastfeeding and less pressure to formula feed. I can't say the same of Chinese hospitals. Of course, you might get lucky and discover a local hospital that is supportive of breastfeeding. If so, use the forum on this website to promote that hospital. In any case, it is best to prepare yourself with information so you can combat any poor advice. Here are some issues to be prepared for. Colostrum. There is a lack of understanding in Chinese hospitals when it comes to colostrum, the special breast milk produced the first 3 to 4 days. Colostrum is often ignored. Babies are given formula and water, and breastfeeding is started once milk comes in, day 3 to 5. This is unfortunate, as colostrum is of paramount importance to infants. It seals the gut to protect against pathogens, colonizes the GI tract with friendly bacteria and enzymes, and it has a laxative effect that helps prevent jaundice. Because colostrum may not be abundant and looks different than mature breast milk, and very different from formula, many doubt its ability to nourish a newborn. Research, and all of human history, shows that colostrum is the perfect amount for the newborn's tiny stomach and is essential to infant health. No supplements of water or formula should be given unless medically indicated. Understanding colostrum and its transition to mature breast milk will help you feel confident exclusively breastfeeding. See the World Health Organization's website for more info on why exclusive breastfeeding is so important. http://www.who.nutrition/exclusive_breastfeeding/en. Water. Chinese see breast milk as food, not drink. Means eat milk. This idea, along with some Chinese medicine, has led to the belief that all babies, even right after birth, need to be supplemented with water. You will probably be instructed to give your baby water. Knowing that breast milk has water in it and knowing the risks of giving water can be helpful. Giving water to newborns worsens jaundice, makes infants more susceptible to infection and allergies, brings imbalance to blood sugar, leads to reduced caloric intake, and lowers milk supply. There is really never a medically indicated reason to do it. Every major health organization advises against any supplements, water, food, formula, until around the baby's 6th month of life. Breast massage. This is actually big business in China. Expect to have at least one visit a day from a breast massage therapist hoping to be hired. Usually they just give you their card and move along, but I have observed that they can be very persistent. Even freely squeezing your breasts, without asking, and telling you don't have enough milk. Although breast massage can be useful, it is something any mother can learn to do herself. These services are usually offered to fix two problems, engorgement and low milk supply. Both of these problems are usually due to infrequent feeding, and both can be fixed by increasing breastfeeding frequency. Getting enough milk. In China, being told your baby isn't eating enough is common. When your baby is first born, breastfeeding very frequently is normal. (10 to 12 times in 24 hours or more. As your milk comes in and your baby's stomach grows, time between feedings will lengthen. Just because your baby seems to want to constantly be at the breast, it doesn't mean you don't have enough milk for him. It's helpful to know accurate ways to assess adequate intake. You can know how much is going in by how much is coming out. Take this chart with you to the hospital for reference. Asterisk day 1, 1 wet, 1 plus meconium, dark tarry, stool. Asterisk day 2, 2 to 3 wet, 1 plus meconium stools. Asterisk day 3, 4 to 6 wet, transitional stools. Asterisk day 4, 4 to 6 wet, transitional stools. Asterisk day 5, 6 plus wet, 3 to 4 yellow stools. Taken from Core Curriculum for Lactation Consultant Practice, 2nd edition, Male, Martins, and Walker. Breastfeeding issues after discharge. Well baby checks. Unless you're going through an international style clinic or hospital, you may not have scheduled well baby checks. Well baby checks are important to the breastfeeding mother because your baby can be weighed, measured, and you can be assured that he/she is getting enough milk. Also, most serious cases of jaundice present after discharge. Especially if your baby still appears jaundice after you leave the hospital, schedule a checkup soon. One of the easiest solutions parents have found is to look online to find the normal schedule for checkups and vaccines from their country and try their best to follow it. Growth charts. In China there is an outdated growth chart in use in most hospitals and clinics. In the West there is a slow transition to using growth charts based on breastfed babies instead of formula-fed babies. The WHO chart is the one to use for breastfed or mostly breastfed babies. http://www.who.childgrowth/standards/en/. Take it with you whenever your baby will be weighed and measured. Many mothers have been told to wean or supplement with formula because their baby is in the lower percentile on a faulty chart. Whatever you hear at a checkup you can take home and look up. Some families have found it useful to purchase a digital baby scale so they can keep track of weight themselves. Scales in hospitals also seem to vary greatly, so it's good to use the same one consistently. Nutrients. Breastfed babies often have lower iron levels, and I've heard of many mothers being told their babies are anemic. Breast milk iron is unique and is extremely well absorbed. 50% to 70% compared to 1% to 12% in formula. So breastfed babies who may test low in blood iron levels may be thriving just fine. Anemia is a serious condition, so don't take it lightly. But do consider a second opinion, preferably from a pediatrician who is familiar with breastfed babies. Research has shown that babies who are exclusively breastfed for the first 6 to 7 months are at a lower risk of becoming anemic than formula-fed babies. Pisasi in 1995, breastfed babies are often also told they are calcium deficient. This again is based on the high levels of calcium in formula that are not bioavailable to the baby. Always take your baby's blood work home and do a little research for yourself before you get scared by statements like your milk is bad quality. Very unlikely, your baby is deficient in ___________, or your baby is underweight. Chart of normal iron levels. http://www.kellamom.com/nutrition/vitamins/iron.html Iron-rich foods for babies starting solids. http://www.lineslee.org/FAQ/firstfoods.html Stop breastfeeding. Of the many breastfeeding mothers, foreign and Chinese, I interact with here in China, almost all have been told to stop breastfeeding at least once by a well-meaning health professional. Unfortunately, weaning is often advised here with problems such as mastitis, slow weight gain, sore nipples, or even a cold. In all of these situations, abrupt weaning will only cause many more problems for both mom and baby. That being said, don't just tough out breastfeeding difficulties. Get good support and help. Milk increasing foods. The Chinese have many traditional galactorgogues, food or herbs that increase milk supply. Soup, especially fish soup, is said to increase milk supply. Scientifically, we know that breast milk production is regulated by a supply and demand system. No amount of special food will be able to save the milk supply of a mother who is not allowing her baby to drive her supply by frequent breastfeeding. That being said, some Chinese galactorgogues may have cause a slight rise in prolactin, milk-making hormone, levels. Fish soup is a great source of calcium, important for a culture that doesn't consume much dairy. Except for anything typically high in toxins, like shellfish, there's no reason not to try the more milk foods your II makes for you. Resources and support for the breastfeeding family. Lactation consultants. In China there is no real concept of lactation consultant practice. This is not true of other Asian nations. South Korea has a very large number of international board-certified lactation consultants, IBCLCs, as do Japan and Thailand. Lactation consultants hold an official certification and are often employed by hospitals or pediatric offices in developed nations. In China, advice about breastfeeding is left to nurses, who usually have very little training. The I is hired to help a mother during her sit month, breast massage therapists, and mostly family members. Contacting a lactation consultant in your home country by phone or email may be possible. There are a few in China who are understandably overworked. Support groups. Lane Lech League International is active in China with leaders in the following cities: Shanghai, Beijing, Hong Kong, Qingdao, Kunming, and Suzhou. Lane Lech League groups are fun to attend and are a great place to find support and encouragement. If you wish to know about a Lane Lech League group in your area, see www.murahui.org. This site is in Chinese. You may contact me if you cannot find the information you are looking for there. No LLL group in your area. Start your own support group. Just get together with some other moms and start sharing what you're learning. As all of us expats know, friendship and encouragement are important ways to avoid feeling alone. Spoken here.
In breastfeeding, the latch is the moment everything comes together. Your baby takes a big mouthful of your nipple and areola, or latches on, begins to suck, and draws out your milk. When your baby has established a good latch, your nipple soreness is minimized and your little one gets the nourishment he needs. How do you pull all that off? First and most important, have faith in yourself and your baby. Babies are designed to breastfeed, says Emily Pease, RN, International Board Certified Lactation Consultant, of Swedish Hospital's Breastfeeding Center in Seattle. They are born with instincts that help them find mom's breast and latch on, often with very little assistance. And if problems do come up, there are lots of ways to troubleshoot. Here are more steps to get a good latch right from the start. Keep track of baby's feeding schedule. Step 1. Do your homework. Before your baby arrives, take a breastfeeding class. Many hospitals and birthing centers offer them, or go to a La Leche League International meeting. At prenatal breastfeeding classes, instructors demonstrate latching with videos or with dolls, so you can get more comfortable with the process. Connecting with other moms and new moms to be can be an invaluable source of support should you have questions or problems when your turn arrives. Find a nursing cover for your needs. How to get a good breastfeeding latch. Step 2. Get comfortable. Find a relaxed position that you can stay in for a while. Some experts encourage moms to breastfeed in a reclined position, usually about 45 degrees, though do what feels good for you, especially at the beginning. It's usually much more comfortable for the mom, Pease explains. Also, when you're lying back, gravity helps support your baby so you don't have to do all the work. And it's an easier position for your baby to use her hands, lift and turn her head, and bury her chin into the breast. All helpful things for her to do when she's latching on. It's your partner's job to hold your baby while you're getting settled, so pay attention to where you might need an extra pillow or two, and make sure your water bottle's full. How to get a good breastfeeding latch. Step 3. Start breastfeeding as soon as possible after your baby is born. The earlier you start breastfeeding, the more likely you'll be to tap into your baby's innate abilities to latch on, making the process easier for both of you, as well as keeping your milk supply strong. Right from the very beginning, a baby's natural reflex is to crawl up to mommy's breast on his own and start nursing, says Agnes Petticino, and a childbirth educator based in New York City. When you put your baby's bare skin on your bare skin, you help those reflexes kick in. Even if you've had to be separated from your baby for a little while after birth, skin-to-skin contact, plus your smell and touch, can bring him right back to nuzzling and rooting around looking for your nipple. How to get a good breastfeeding latch. Step 4. Set your baby up to nurse properly. Begin by putting your baby tummy down on your bare chest, and tummy in little else than her diaper, with her cheeks and chin touching your breasts. Some moms find it most comfortable to place their babies horizontally across their chests, but do whatever works for you. Placing your hand on your baby's upper back and neck might help steady her. You can encourage her interest in your nipple and make her open wide by expressing a little colostrum. Your first milk, rub your thumb and finger back and forth across your nipple, gently compressing your areola to make some come out. Ideally, your baby's bottom lip will be near or on the base of your areola with her nose opposite your nipple. When she smells the colostrum, she'll bury her chin into your breast, open her mouth, and latch on. Your mammary glands are located behind the areola, Chinesse says. You want your baby's mouth covering most of the bottom of your areola and some of the top, not just your nipples, so those glands are stimulated when she sucks, and produce milk. If your breasts are large or your baby's mouth is small, you can make it easier for her to latch if you compress your breast gently into a sort of nipple sandwich. Cup your breast in a U-hold so your fingers are parallel to your baby's lips and gently squeeze, as you would if you were pressing down on a big sandwich you're about to bite into. You'll be making your breast into a smaller bite for your baby. How to get a good breastfeeding latch. Step 5. Know the signs of a good latch. Your baby is latching well if you feel a pulling or tugging sensation on your breast and he is getting milk. How to tell if your baby is swallowing. His temple and lower jaw move rhythmically and you hear a breathy ah occasionally, which is your baby exhaling after he swallows. Keep in mind that before your milk comes in, your baby won't be swallowing all that often because the volume of colostrum isn't high. Ideally, your baby's lips will be flanged out like a fish or an open flower around your nipple and areola, not tucked under, which may make your nipples sore. How to get a good breastfeeding latch. Step 6. Be on the lookout for signs of trouble. It's common for new moms to feel a little soreness or tenderness with breastfeeding, especially in the very beginning. But you shouldn't feel pinching or biting, and any soreness shouldn't last the entire feeding, Pease says. If it does, it means there's something going on that we need to explore. Pay attention to how your nipple looks when your baby detaches. If it's compressed, cracked, or bleeding, that's not normal, Chinesse says. If you notice any of these things or feel a lot of pain, or if something seems off for your baby, reach out to a lactation consultant, talk to your doctor or pediatrician, or find a support group. Some issues can interfere with your baby's nursing abilities, and an expert can help. Maybe your baby is biting or has a tight jaw, or perhaps you have flat or inverted nipples, Pease says. There are things we can do to help all that. Breastfeeding is normal, it's what babies do. So if there's a problem, let's figure out how to fix it. Breastfeeding latch, proper positioning. The most important part of successful breastfeeding is the latch. If your baby is not properly latched onto your breast, feedings could be painful. There are specific techniques that can be used when latching your baby to your breast.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget for like, share and subscribe our channel to get more video updates, and see you on next videos.
第一类，层次